Welcome back. We're talking about plot and we're going through the scenes. We've talked about having to name your scenes and making sure that they have a purpose and also figuring out how to open and end your scenes. Today, we're going to go on to the next session. Bring us into that, Christina.
Okay, so we're going to talk about how you anchor a scene. And the reason this is important, we all know the advice, the first line of your story is the most important because you have to hook your reader. Well, I actually believe the first line or first paragraph or two for every scene is super important because every time a reader starts a new scene, it's an opportunity for them to go, oh, I'm not really interested and put the book down. So as a writer, what we want to do is make sure that we have the reader anchored in the scenes. And by anchoring, I mean in the first 1, 2, 3 paragraphs, does the reader know who the point of view character is for that scene? Do they know the timing of the scene? And it doesn't have to be it's 4 o'clock on Tuesday, but relative to the last scene that they just read, can they figure that out without thinking about it or flipping backward? And do they know where the scene is taking place? Unless, of course, the character in the scene doesn't know where they are either, then it's perfectly acceptable for the reader not to know because that's part of the story.
Right.
But if the character knows where they are, the reader should know where that character is.
Okay. So go through this again. We need to know where we are and we need to know what time it is. And what were the other two?
So the point of view character, so we covered that in an earlier section. If you want to go back and look at the videos that are up of who the point of view character is. So that just means whose eyes are the reader experiencing that scene from. And so everything that happens in that scene is what that character sees, hears, feels, touches, whatever. It's from their perspective.
Great.
So that's the first one. The scene time is just when is the scene happening, either relative to the last scene, if there's a big time jump, or if something confusing or there's been like a big plot change and the reader really needs to understand when this is happening, especially in a mystery, it might be really important. Those things need to come out.
Exactly. And those are sometimes when you see the annotations on the chapters that tell you the date and the time or the location. That's just a quick and easy way of doing it. I don't recommend that for everything, but it does help when you're doing historical and different things like that, right?
Yes. And particularly historical, where it's very important to know that it was in Rome in 1538, right? You know, that is important for a historical story. Stories that are happening very quickly, you know, can be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So it's quick in the character's life. Those are good ways of doing it. The only thing that I would caution on is if you just rely on those, it has to be on every scene because the reader can be 3 or 4 scenes down and they're not going to remember it's still Monday. So when using that technique, be careful it's clear in every scene. And if it's not, you don't need to put the date, but there needs to be something at the beginning of the scene that references Monday or references is, 10 minutes ago I was here and I'm here, or something that tells the reader where they are in the timing.
Okay. And so if we're going to check for that, what's the easiest way? Do we look at the first paragraph? Do we have to read the whole scene? How do we determine that if we're going to have an action for the day to improve our writing?
So again, we're back to looking at every scene in the story. And okay, everybody watching this is going to get used to that. So what you're looking for, read the first 3 paragraphs. And can you say, okay, the point of view is Susan and the scene time is Monday at 4 and she's in her office. And if you can't do that in the first few paragraphs, read the scene right before, and is it clear? Is it carry-on scene? So it's very clear that it's just that next carry-on in the same place, or are you going to confuse the reader? If the answer is yes, you need to rewrite the opening of the scene.
Okay, and that's where we look at it. So you're going to go in and self-edit today, guys. You need to dig into your scenes and look at the names and the purpose and the anchoring. And now you get to determine if we know where we are and what we're doing.
Yep. Okay, perfect. And then next up is exit hook and entry hook for each scene. So get ready for that.
Thanks for watching. Try Fictionary Storyteller free for 2 weeks at fictionary.co. Storyteller will get you one step closer to telling that powerful story you dream of.